Welcome back to the District 32 podcast. Dean, glad to have you back in the studio.
Oh, great to be back, Kingsley.
Sales, well, you talk sales, that's who you are, that's what you do. You sold yourself into here.
Just about.
Building a great business, that's doing really well. That takes obviously good sales.
Yeah.
Now, one of the topics you mentioned you want to talk about today is something, again, like last week we talked about closing, it's a big topic.
Yeah.
Building rapport, there's so many different opinions on what you should and shouldn't do and what it is and what it isn't. So I'm really looking forward to hearing what you got to say about what building rapport is and how you actually do go about it.
Yeah, I think most people struggle with, I suppose, that initial conversation, or in a networking environment. How do you get traction with a conversation? How do you start a conversation? How do you connect with people? Like it is challenging, I would think, for most business owners from, I suppose, my experience over the last 20 odd years. So I think the first thing to recognize is usually the other person is the same. They're struggling. And even the people you kind of meet in business who are in business 10, 20 years, even after that length of time and that experience and that success, they still kind of find it awkward, or they struggle. So if you kind of recognize everyone's in the same boat, that to give you a bit of confidence. But going back to a word I always kind of think of the word control, because if you can take control in the sales environment in general, things happen a bit quicker. So if you kind of acknowledge, okay, I'm going to take control of this conversation, whether it's a one-to-one, a networking event, or whatever the case may be. So, I mean, you can have a steady line of, I suppose, openers. Like, I mean, if it's a Monday, it could be, hey, how was your weekend? Or how long did it take you to get here? If you're meeting someone for the first time at a networking event, and they might say, oh, I was busy with the kids' football matches. Oh, and then develop the conversation from there. Oh, how many kids you got? What are they into? Are you into the sport yourself? So it's very just human. It's not salesy. It's just, you're just looking to make a connection. I mean, if you're doing that social, if you're meeting a new group, you're joining a new football team, or it's the same situation. There's no difference between social and, I suppose, professional in that way manner. But think of questions just to start a conversation, or have you been involved in this group long, or what's your experience, and tell us about what gets you up in the morning. You know, just a number of, there's probably half a dozen or a dozen questions that would work in any situation, where it's a one-to-one, a networking event. And what you're trying to do is just get the other person talking. And like, I'm not a body language expert, but I always notice is if I've initiated that kind of rapport and they're talking, you can see people's, I always notice their shoulders kind of drop, so they're feeling comfortable because they're talking with themselves. And usually then they'll fire questions like, oh, is this your first time at the event? Or geez, are you into the sport yourself? Or the thing might be, but just think you're going to take control, and just you can have, even just write it down. What are the 6 to 12 questions? I'm sure you could Google stuff around how to start a conversation. And just have those 6-8 questions to initiate conversation. And I always find as well, if you're initiating a conversation, whether it's socially or professionally, and people are talking, it builds the trust as well quite quickly, and the connection, because they go, oh, I was really nervous coming to this event, and thank God I met this guy. And
it makes a big difference.
It does, yeah.
It really does. And this is something that you're really good at, and I know firsthand, because when you guys first come to the Gold Coast, there was the event, and you know you're promoting it on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll give it a shot. So put my name down, and I think within the next few minutes I had a phone call.
That's right. Yeah, I remember now.
And I'm like, geez, that was fast. And it started talking, and I'm like, okay, so are you one of the reps for the company?
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. No, I actually one of the founders of the company. I'm like, whoa. But you were instantly able to, just the way you approached and talked and asked questions, put me into a relaxed mode. Because once I get a salesperson, I'm instantly, as much as I've done a ton of sales, if I get one coming at me, my walls go up straight away. But you were able to just pull down those walls and make it a nice, relaxed thing, and go, I want to go there.
I think if you like, we know, like, in terms of even say closing, nothing happens without the trust being at a really high level. So I mean, when you're meeting someone for the first time, I mean, what are you trying to achieve? You're just trying to achieve a human connection. That's it. I think, like,
that's a great point.
It is, and like, I think it was really highlighted as well, Kingsley, say, when you look at the COVID period, when people were on lockdowns and stuff, we were all craving that connection socially, and you kind of forget we're humans, and that's what we do. And in an environment where you're meeting someone for the first time, whether it's an introduction, a referral, or a networking, I mean, the hardest part is really that connection. So if you can connect with someone on a human level, the rest of that stuff will kind of flow.
Yeah.
And I think it's something you said to me a while ago about being curious. Be curious about that the other person, and that will elicit kind of information, small talk, I suppose, where you kind of connect over sports, hobbies, family interests, and once that connection's made, the rest of the conversation is actually quite easy. So tell us about the business, what do you guys do, and all that stuff that we're keen to know around the professional side of things. But the human connection is first and foremost. Nothing happens without a human connection. Someone doesn't connect with you on a personal level, it ain't going to happen on a business level.
It's really interesting. You've brought back a few things in my mind of what's happened with me along those lines. Okay. And sometimes when you're talking to people, you don't know what's actually going to connect. Yeah. When I was selling in real estate, you go into a house and you're looking for that, okay, how can I connect? You look at pictures on the wall or sports gear that's around or the car or whatever it is. And you just start talking about things, and that you pick something and bang, they light up, and you're like, okay, here we go, got them. This is what I need to hone in on and work on that side of things. I remember one guy I went to, really hard guy to deal with, and to get the listing on that house was ridiculously hard. Yeah. I like fun socks. I walked in there, and the guy I worked for at the time, he's loosened up a lot now, but he's like, in real estate, you got to be more professional. You don't want to wear socks like that, and blah, blah, blah. He actually does now.
Oh, very good.
But this guy looked at my socks and went, bang, that got him. And from then on, I was able to jump in, get the listing, and do what needed to happen, just because I had fun socks on, and that's what he enjoyed, despite the fact that he was didn't come across as that sort of guy. So I think the whole thing of building rapport, it's like a lot of selling, I think, listening, looking, understanding that person and move on.
It's a brilliant point you make as well. And I suppose having that awareness, if you're in someone's office or a home, like you might pick up stuff from it, as you said, on the walls where, oh, I see you're into the sports, or oh, I see you've got young kids or whatever. And that gets them talking. Again, the other thing as well, I suppose, about creating rapport is, say, preparation. So if you're meeting someone, whether it's an introduction or a sales inquiry, and you're meeting them, try to do some research, have a look at their website, LinkedIn. You might find some common interests, whether it's hobbies or whatever, or they might be associated with a charity, which you can kind of mention, hey, I see you do some good stuff with the charity. And as you said, that lights them up, because that's their passion. They're giving their time and energy, whether it's a non-for-profit charity or a sports club. So, great point you make as well. Just have that awareness as well, and do a bit of research. It'll put you more at ease if you've got some ammunition. Oh, I know something where we can kind of connect as humans.
That what you just said there reminded me, pretty much summarises Dale Carnegie's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People.
I read that. Brilliant book. I haven't read it in a while. I'll need to revisit.
Yeah, but that pretty much to me summarises the book.
Oh, does it? Oh, right.
Because that's all he did. Based on, I'm dealing with a person here. I'm not trying to sell a company or an organisation. I'm dealing with this person.
Yeah.
And that's what he based everything pretty much. I know that's an oversimplified simplification, but that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant stuff. Well, Dale, if you're listening from above, what took you a couple of 100 pages, I've done in 30 seconds. But no, it's a brilliant book, and it's one probably I'll revisit myself. Or always good to go back to the gems. No,
that's great. Rapport. We all need it.
100%. Yeah.
So many ways. Beautiful.
Cheers,
thanks, Dean.
Appreciate that. Thanks a million.